Hi, hello, and a warm welcome to Knit in the City, which is now taking place in the countryside, but hopefully it's just temporary. Not that I mind the countryside, but it does kind of clash with the name. My name is Rebecca, and today I'm here with a monthly roundup where I talk about what I have been doing during the month, and this is of course November. I will talk about the plans that I made, which of these actually happened, which didn't, and I will talk about some naughty cast-ons that I have made. That happens every month, so no one is surprised. I only have one finished object this month, which I will also talk about, and then I will tell you a little bit about my December plans. So I'm just going to dive right into it. And the finished object that I have for November is the Candelariella pullover, which is a test knit for Teti Lutsak. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I'm just going to show it to you. It's a round yoke pullover with a really pretty stranded color work motif. It is kind of cropped, a little bit oversized in the body, not too much. The sleeves they're not snug, but they're less oversized. I really like these edgings in the contrast color. I knit this in Ester by Permin, which is a cotton and wool blend, which is really good because it means it is less warm. This room that I'm in right now is really knitwear friendly because it's really cold. So I'm happy to be able to wear knitwear. Actually, I'm wearing my Vardog sweater. I can't stand up because the roof is tilted, so that I'm gonna hit my head. But if you've been following me, you've seen this one before. I could insert a picture so you can see the whole thing. This is also a really cropped sweater. It is knit in brioche. And if you have been with me for a while, you know that I've been struggling with this. The body was ready for like 2 years before I actually sat down and finished the sleeves. I had a problem with the decreases here because they looked very wonky, and this time I think I did a better job. I just jumped from one project to the next, but there you go. And this is knit in Svensk ull, which just means Swedish wool, from Järbo, which is a really lovely yarn. And I noticed something when I blocked this. I had to block it because since I started knitting it, I think it's more than 2 years ago. What was I going to say? Yeah, I was a few sizes smaller than I am today. And I didn't re-knit the body because no, thank you. So I had to block it quite aggressively, and now it really fits me actually. It has a slit in the side, and it's a little bit longer in the back than the front. Yeah. It turned out pretty. I really like the color. I think it's a really pretty color, this blue. Yeah. Where was I going with this? I don't know. That's what I'm wearing. Yes, now I remember what I was going to say. I blocked it. This is a rustic yarn, let me tell you. I think it's great. I love rustic yarn, so no problem here. On the inside, it still feels like it did when I was knitting with it. But on the outside, it got, after blocking, it got really soft. So it's like very nice to the touch. I mean, you would have liked that to be on the inside, really, because that's where you can feel it. But never mind, I'm happy with the result. Okay, so my plans for November was to knit on the sweater that I'm making for my daughter, that my mother bought the yarn for. And I mean, I feel sorry for everyone who's been following me for a while because I have talked about this sweater a lot. I already knit one for little sister. This is for big sister. And it's been going on forever, but I decided that this has to be done by Christmas, and I think I'm gonna make it actually, because Last time you saw it, I think the body was already done. And now I have finished the first sleeve. She also has long arms, but yeah, it fits. The first sleeve is done, and I actually started the second sleeve. I haven't come very far, but I mean, this is absolutely doable, and I am going to, even though this is not the most fun of knits, I am going to spend some time with this so I can wrap it up and give it to her for Christmas. I hope she will wear it, but the yarn is super soft, so even if she doesn't want to wear it at school, she can still wear it at home because it's going to feel really nice. It does feel really nice against the skin. This is not rustic at all. This is a blown yarn. It is Viking alpaca bris. Yeah. This is just like, this is also stranded color work. Very simple with these little squares. They are 3 by 4, so it's 3 stitches here and then 4 rounds. And yeah, I feel like this is going in the right direction. I feel good about this. This was actually, no, this was, yes, this was a UFO when the month started. Now it's an active whip, and I'm going to put it to the side, and I will probably knit on this some more tonight. And I also have to say sorry about the light, but this is November, and in this part of the world, November is like, just, the sky is always covered in clouds. Almost. I mean, you're lucky to get a sunny day. And also, I had to film this after work because otherwise there's not going to be any filming this week. So yeah, I can see my shadow behind me. Let's see. Yeah, I have a light in front of me, as you could probably tell. But yeah, the other UFO that I wanted to work on in November was my Christmas socks, Järbo Bagger by Evelina Roos, and I'm going to keep calling this a UFO because I knit like 2 rounds on it. I don't have them here, they're still back at the house, but I will show you a picture. I will show you a picture of my progress because it's not going to look any different between when I took the picture and what has happened up until today. So and I will also put in a picture of from the designer's page on Ravelry so that you can see what the whole sock looks like. I did want to finish this before Christmas. I don't think it's going to happen because I have decided to make some Christmas presents for the knit-worthy people in my family, which is mainly my father and my 2 girls. The other people that I have knit for, my mother, my aunt, they are not as knit-worthy, I'm sorry to say, because my aunt thinks that everything is prickly and my mother thinks everything is too warm, so they're not really wearing the things that I made them. And also they both started knitting again when lockdown happened, so they are now knitting things for themselves as well. Yes, where did I want to go with? Yeah, I'm probably not going to finish the socks, but yeah, and I didn't really knit on them this month. The whips that I wanted to work on was the Candelariella, which is finished, yay, because I had to, and Lima from Sari Nordlund. I have actually knit on this a bit. It's a bit hard to show because the needles are quite short. But I have made most of the yoke is finished. There is one part down here that is going to be like about this wide. But the neck is going to be folded over and sewn in once this is done. But it looks pretty nice the way it is now as well. I'm gonna try it on once it's done and see what I mean, now I feel like the light is really ruining the... Yes, that looks better. I am knitting this in drops Lima. And I really love this color. This is like a cool brown, which is not that easy to find. It's called Deep Taupe. So it has a bit of gray in it as well. Also a bit of pink actually. And that's why I picked the contrast color, which is a dusty pink, like a mauvey kind of thing. I can show you the yarn. They fell on the floor. No, they didn't. That was something else. That was another ball of yarn. This is the pink, and this is Klippans tvåtrådiga, which is a 2-ply wool. And I'm holding these two together. And that gives me something that is a little bit thicker than the Lima. But it's close enough. Yeah, you can see it there. And I mean, this is a lot of fun. The reason I haven't been knitting on this that much is because of the test knit, of course. And then I've also been dipping my toes in the sea of whips that I have going on at this point. There are just so many. So the next whip that I wanted to work on this month was Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter. And I mean, I've come quite far actually. The body is done. The hem is just really rolling here. So this needs some aggressive blocking once I'm done. It's really annoying actually because it's hard to show as well. But this is like a really nice geometric pattern down here. And I like that the stranded colorwork is at the bottom instead of on the yoke, which is more common. And I have finished the first sleeve as well. So this was actually supposed to be a 3/4 sleeve. So it was supposed to end somewhere here. But I mean, this is wool, and I have figured out that I don't like hand knit 3/4 things. I mean, perhaps if I was knitting in cotton or linen or something like that, but in a warm fiber like wool, it's just very impractical. And all the things that I have knit in wool, that is 3/4 length sleeves, I just don't wear those things. So I'm not going to do it again. So I added length to the sleeve, and this is a different colorwork pattern on the sleeve. And then it's ended in a 2/2 rib. The reason I haven't finished this is that I ran out of this yarn and I had to go to Lund to get a skein. And now that these are 25-gram skeins of Jameson and Smith. Now I never remember if it's 2-ply or 4-ply. Let's see. I probably need my glasses now to see these tiny letters. This is 2-ply jumper weight. I'm not going to wear those because the light. 2-ply jumper weight is this. These are 25-gram balls. And actually, I mean, there's not that much left. And I have all of this color work for the second sleeve that I have to make. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to go to Lund again for another skein of these. I mean, these are fingering weight. It shouldn't. And I mean, I'm knitting this on 4mm needles or US 6. I mean, that's quite big needles for the yarn. I don't know why this yarn just... Yeah, I don't know. I did start... no, I did not start the second sleeve. I actually nicked the needles because I wanted to start knitting on a Christmas present for daughter number 2, which I will be talking about later. Not the daughter, but the project. I really like the cables here in the raglan seam. Or it's not a seam because it's knit in the round, but... And this is supposed to be a V-neck. And yeah, I mean, I really like this. The yarn that fell on the floor. But you can see all of this gray goodness. This is Solkustens spinnverkstad, entrådig Gotland, which is a 1-ply Gotland yarn. It's really lovely, and I can tell that this is going to soften when I block it, because it's already like shiny and quite soft, even though it's still rustic, you know. I mean, I really love that. Yes, that's the whips. And then I had 2 cast-ons that I wanted to start in November, and that is the storm sweater. I want to make both of my daughters a storm sweater, because when they saw mine, they really liked it and they wanted one for themselves. And actually my youngest daughter, she borrowed my storm sweater and walked around it, and it's quite oversized on her, but not to the point where it looks ridiculous. She actually looked great in it. So, and she was like, can I have this? And I'm like, no, you can't. I'm gonna make you one. And I have started on that. And I am making this in a white, like it's a yellowy white, so it's a warm white color. This is not, I mean, it's hard to show this because I started, because this is a drop shoulder construction and this is a petite knit pattern. I'm sure you have all seen this. You start at the back. And these textured patterns, they're all just knits and pearls, so it's really simple, but at the same time it's a lot of fun because you don't have to do the same thing for a very long time. So this is the back, and then I have, with the same circular needle, picked up stitches for the front. So this is the left front. I mean, everything is just really nice and neat. So this is the left front. And then I also picked up stitches for the right front with the same needle. So that's why it's all scrunched up. And this is how far I've come on this. So yeah, really fun knit. And the result is also something very wearable and nice. And this yarn is Adlibris Nordic. And this is 100% wool yarn, non-superwash. And this feels really nice. It's kind of soft. It's neither very soft nor very rustic. It's somewhere in between. It's like very pleasant. Yeah, and it's pretty, I wouldn't say cheap, but it's not expensive either. It's somewhere in between. Yeah. And this is it's actually undyed, but it has this yellowy undertone. I think that's all I had to say about that project. The other thing that I wanted to cast on is a Christmas present for my other daughter. And I mean, both of these things I have ran by them, because my youngest daughter is very particular with what colors she wears. So I asked her about the yarn. I had this one and another white. Because she said she wanted it in white, and she just picked between them. For my older daughter, I am knitting the Margaret T, which is actually a short-sleeved cardigan. And this is really difficult to show because everything is rolling like crazy. So this is a cropped cardigan with short sleeves and these really cute ruffles. The body is knit in a merino nylon blend, and then the ruffles are made in a silk mohair. I already had this yarn, and what happened here is that she saw this pattern and she really liked it, and she said she wanted one. The picture in the pattern is of a white cardigan, and I asked her if purple was okay, and she said it was. So this is a raglan construction. You knit it from the top down, and then you make I-cord edgings. You can see it a lot better here around the sleeve, where I also picked up for the ruffle. And then you're supposed to do, I have made the I-cord edging on this sleeve as well, but it just rolled so much, so it's hard to see. And then I'm going to pick up and do the ruffle here. And the ruffle is also going to go all the way around the body, which you were actually supposed to do first. But I mean, the amount of stitches, because you pick up 2 stitches for every stitch here on the I-cord edging. Yes. And then when you're done, you're also, because the closure is not going to be buttons, but it's going to be little ribbons that you also make from I-cord. So it's a lot of I-cord. If you're not into I-cord, this may not be your project. I don't mind it so much. It takes a bit longer than just binding off the stitches, of course, but it just looks really neat when you're done with it. So I don't have a lot of work left on this. So I really think that I will be able to finish this before Christmas and give it to her. Yes. That was the cast-ons. And the things that I wanted to have finished in November was this sweater, which I didn't really manage to do, but I feel like I've come far and I'm still happy with the progress that I made. And then of course the Candelariella pullover, because I had to. And the deadline was actually extended by a week, and if it hadn't been, I would have been a very, very busy girl. But yeah, made it. Okay, then I also cast on quite a few things that I hadn't planned to cast on. My mischievous cast-ons. And the first one is the August cardigan. I have been eyeing the August sweater for a long time, but then and then she had a sale, and I was thinking to buy the sweater, but then I thought that I have so many sweaters and not as many cardigans, and this is also a V-neck cardigan, which I really like, and I hardly have any. So I bought this pattern, started knitting in. This is knit in Sandnes per Gynt, and this is also, I always knit on really short needles, so you can't really see. I will show you the back instead. So you knit these parts first, like the button band from the neck down, and then you pick up stitches and start knitting the body. And I didn't like this pattern because it gave you instructions for the first increase round, and then it said to continue something like that. Then there were charts for the cables, and the only thing in the charts is the turning of the cables. That's it. I mean, you can see that the cardigan is growing, but the increases have not been marked on the chart. So I was annoyed and I abandoned the pattern, and I just keep knitting from the top of my head. And I have put markers here in blue and yellow so that I will remember which way the increase is going to lean. Yeah. But I mean, it looks really pretty, and there's also, this is cable, and then it's just like a rib part, a cable rib, and then the raglan increase section is also a cable. So there are 4 raglan increase points. And I mean, this is really fun to knit on, actually. I only put this aside because I had to work on my test knit. I feel like this is a second whiskey voice episode, but this time I haven't been drinking. This time I just have a cold, that's all. At least I'm not coughing. I've been coughing a lot the previous few days. Yeah. So not much more to say about this. I think it's going to be really, it's going to come out really nice. I'm going to be happy when I can wear it. Right. What else have I been doing that I shouldn't have? Yes, this is the Snefald shawl, which means snowfall in Danish. And this is Fiber Tales is the designer. And this is fun, because this is a shawl that is knit in the round. And then you are, when you're done, because then you're going to steek it. And this yarn is really dark. These are the steek stitches. And this is ingenious because you don't want to knit colorwork flat. I mean, knitting colorwork on the wrong side is a pain. This pattern does include something that is pain though, because there are quite a few rounds in this pattern where you work with 3 colors simultaneously. And I didn't check that before buying the pattern, because if I had, maybe I hadn't bought it. I don't know. This is also Svensk, like the same yarn that is in this sweater. So I know that this is going to block beautifully. This is another, and I'm using 4 colors. This dark one is Swedish black. And it is like a deep, deep gray, I would say. It looks really black in the, maybe if I, no, that's just gonna blow out. Okay, never mind. And then I'm just gonna dive down and find the balls of yarn. This is Northern Lights, this tealy. I really like these yarns because they're all dyed on a gray base, which makes them super beautiful. I mean, I think you can see it on the sweater as well. And then I have, I think the light gray is called Heather Gray. And then there is a medium gray that I don't remember the name of, but I can look it up and put it on the screen. Yes, and I haven't come very far, as you can see. I have made these gray ones, they're bubbles. And then I've started the colorwork pattern here. And where I stopped is where the 3rd color is coming in. So there's a natural point to stop. But I am excited about this because I have never steeked a shawl before. So I will get on it when I have time and patience. And the next thing that I cast on that I'm actually really excited about is a, what is this called? This is Lærke Bagger. This is a really fun, I bought her book, Close Knit, where she does all kinds of fun and crazy things. And she has a technique where she makes knots when she changes colors instead of cutting it and weaving in the ends, which is just so cool. And that's what you do when you make this sweater. I have made a sweater like this before. And when I remember what it, no, I mean, the name will be on the screen. And I could actually, I think I could put in a picture of the one that I already made. And I made it for my oldest daughter. I actually started making it for myself, but it came out a little bit too small. So then I made it for her. So she didn't have a chance to pick any of the colors. I picked them not at random. I took all of the leftover oddballs that I had, and then I organized them into neutral colors, reddish colors, greenish colors, bluish colors, yellowish colors. And then I just alternated these. I think I had no more than 3 colors before I had put in a neutral, or maybe just 2. So every 3rd or 4th round was a neutral color, which just kept it kept the craziness on a good level. It's a good level of crazy. She loved this sweater. She wore it to school all the time. She is now 14. She stopped wearing it to school, not because she doesn't love it, but someone said something about it, something rude. So now, unfortunately, she's not wearing it to school anymore. But it's fine. She wears it at home, and it gets quite cold. sometimes. And now I started making one for her little sister. Her little sister is, she's a bit of a diva. And she's very particular about what she wears and what colors these things have. So that's why I haven't made her this sweater before. But what I did now, I did the same thing. I just organized everything into color. And then she got to pick the colors that I was going to knit with. So she has decided which colors to use and also the order of the colors. And she's really happy about this part here. She's less happy about what's happening up here. But I think that when it all comes together, because in my mind, this looks really nice and not that crazy at all for what it is. So yeah, we will see. So I'm only knitting on this when I'm with her, which means that I'm not knitting on it that much. Because when I'm with the kids, we're also doing lots of other things. I mean, I don't get a ton of knitting time when I'm with them, which is as it should be, of course. But since this is knit on like a really thick, look at this crazy thing. I think this is actually a 9mm needle. I don't even know what that is in US terms. But so it just goes really fast, which is a lot of fun. They are a bit clumsy to knit with, but still, being this thick, it is a quick knit. And she just has to find a color that doesn't offend her too much for the next round. And I think I actually have enough yarn so that I can make the same stripe sequence for the sleeves, and I think she's gonna like the cohesiveness of that. So as you can understand, this is all kinds of yarns. I have everything from fingering weight that I hold triple to bulky weight that I'm obviously holding single. I think even there are some worsted and Aran weights that I'm also holding single. So it's not like a super even texture, but that is part of the charm with this thing. There is some mohair in here, which makes things fluffy and nice. Yeah, really fun knit. And then I also cast on the Vima collar from Soy Nordlund. And I've had this in my library for quite a while, and I have been wanting to knit this for quite a while. I don't know why I didn't get to it. The neck part is 2-2 rib, and you can see this really clearly, that there is like, this is a different dye lot. This one is a different dye lot than this one, as you can clearly see. But I mean, I don't feel like ripping back. This is going to be folded over, and then it's less noticeable when you don't see the line. So I've started making the shoulders, so it just starts with a rib here, and ends in an I-cord. And then there's moss stitch on the sides. So this is the front, I think, that I started making. Yeah, this is not very cooperative. It's moss stitch here, and then there are going to be cables here. But I mean, I haven't really gotten to that part yet. They're going to be cables, and then it's going to go down like this. I have been wanting a collar like this for a long time, because when I wear my winter coat, which just goes quite high, it's hard to put a shawl on top or under of that whole thing. So it would be really nice to just put this under the coat, because it's going to fit quite nicely. This yarn is a merino. It's rather thick, I would say. I don't know, because this is an old yarn. I started making a brioche cardigan with this, but then I noticed that that this yarn comes from a few different dye lots. It's not even 2, it's more than 2. And I got those lines right on the cardigan, which doesn't look very nice. So I ripped that out, and I'm holding this with a mohair. And I decided not to split these because it's pain. So this has a fuzzy halo. I don't know if you can see it, but it does. So yeah, happy to have started with this. This has like short rows and stuff that I'm working on now, so it's not as quick a knit as you would think it would be. Also, the needles are quite small. This is a 3.5 millimeter. So this is going to be like really thick and warm, and wind is not going to go through it. Okay, that was actually all that I have been working on this month. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about what I have planned for December knitting. And like I said, there are going to be a few Christmas presents, but not that many. The UFOs that I have decided to work on is my Christmas socks, the Järbo Bagger, and then I also started a second pair that is Pepparkakeland by the same designer actually. I also don't have those here, but I do have a picture that I will put on the screen. I'm not going to talk too much about them. They're both stranded colorwork socks. Järbo Bagger has this like a square kind of thing, pattern on it. And the Pepparkakeland is gingerbread cookies. That's also what it means in Swedish, pepparkaka. So they are just brown and white. And yeah, I mean, we will see if I finish them. Probably not, but it's something I'm striving for. The whips that I want to work on is, of course, the Margaret T that I hope to finish before Christmas. And that is something that I prioritize over the socks. And also the Storm sweater, so that both of my daughters will get a Christmas present each. That is hand knit. I'm going to buy them presents as well, because otherwise they will... I mean, they're very nice and grateful, but I don't think that's... to just give them hand knit presents is a bit... Yeah, Santa wants to give them more things. Okay, yeah, that's the whips. For the cast-ons, I actually do want to make a Storm sweater for Big Sister as well. I already have the yarn because I decided to use the yarn that I started knitting the Lauder cardigan from. I already ripped that out because it came out way too small. And that is the Drops Lima in the taupe colorway. I don't think I have a skein here, but it is the same color. It's not the same color, but the same-ish color as this one, only it's lighter. So it's like a lighter, cool brown color. So yeah, I was thinking that, I mean, I don't know if I can finish 2 sweaters before Christmas, but I mean, the Storm sweater is a lot of fun to knit on, but we will see how I feel after I finish the first one. And then I was also thinking, because little sister is only going to get 1 garment for Christmas, but her hands are always super cold. So I was thinking to knit her fingerless mittens, because I mean, I already have a lot of fingerless mittens that she wears, because I have knit quite a few over the years, and my mother also knit the kids some fingerless gloves, but she always mislays them everywhere. Fortunately, mostly in the house. I mean, I guess she has some in her locker at school as well, but she keeps losing them all over the house, and then we can't find them until we do find them, but not exactly when she needs them. So I was thinking to just knit her a bunch of them, and then I can give her some for Christmas. And I haven't decided yet what patterns I'm going to use. I think that when I sit down to edit, I'm going to find a few nice ones, and then I'll just put the pictures on the screen. And then I'm also thinking to make my father a collar, but I'm not gonna use the Vima pattern for that because it just takes too long. I'm going to make something similar in a rib, I think. So I'm just gonna, like this part is going to, the neck part is going to be the same, but then I'm just gonna do ribbing for the front and for the back. I mean, maybe I could make the shoulder part and then make pick up and do just ribbing back and front. That could actually, I don't think I'm gonna use a different pattern. I'm just gonna, I don't know if this is in more than one size. I will check that. Well, something like that. Either I just use this pattern for guidance, or I just make something up. Yes. So the things that I want to be finished with at the end of the month is a lot. It is the Margaret T, both of the Storm sweaters, at least one pair of fingerless mittens, and the collar for my father. Wish me luck. So I guess that the other things that I have been working on, the sweaters and the cardigans for myself, will have to wait until January, when everything is cold and boring. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely evening, day, morning, whatever time it is at yours when you're watching this, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye!